up? Josh Rubin from East West Healing and Performance. Today I want to talk about food intolerance testing. Now, I am a proponent of lab testing. I think it's very important when the time is right. With our clients, what we're seeing is we're getting these people that come in to see us, and their files are this big. This big. This is one client's file. And the reason the client's file is so big is because they're going to see practitioner, doctor, naturopath. I feel like I'm breakdancing. And at the same time, everyone's doing all these labs, giving them supplements that it's not working. You have to sit back and ask yourself, hey, is what I'm doing really working for me? And if I'm really not getting better, should I keep taking these supplements, wasting my time, wasting my energy, and hurting myself? Who should I believe? It's almost like the practitioners you're seeing are making things worse. That's what we're seeing. So I'm not trying to be condescending. I'm just telling it like it is. So we have to look at your client's assessments. You have to look at yourself and say, do I really need this lab test again? Do I need all these lab tests? We use a lab when it's specifically needed and only when it's needed because they're expensive. And a lot of the times we like to create a foundation with nutrition and lifestyle principles before even using a lab. Can you hear my passion? A lot of people think it's condescending, but my passion or my yelling is just my passion about this. It's my excitement because I feel like we're on to something. So I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to be arrogant. I'm not trying to be a douchebag. I'm trying to be real. That's what I'm trying to be. Or actually, that's what I'm being. So you can love me or hate me, but I love me, and that's all that matters. So the bottom line is this. If someone wants you to do a lab, ask yourself, it's your right. Not only do I have the money, but do I really need this lab at this point? Consult with your practitioner and say, is it needed? And if they're honest, they'll say, you know what, it really is needed. I think we need to do this. This is a part of the plan. And you know what? Maybe it's really not, and we might be wasting our time and money. Maybe we need to create a foundation first before doing it. All these people coming in with gigantic amounts of labs, and they're still not getting better. You can't treat the lab. You got to treat the person. A lot of the times, we didn't even do labs, and we actually help them. And these are the people come in with files that are that big. So why I'm talking about this is because food intolerance testing. Now, I love Metametrics labs. I love their IgG food intolerance lab. MRT, a lot of people use MRT for metabolic typing. Everyone asks me about MRT. I don't know anything about it, so I can't tell you if I like it or don't like it. I don't use it. I don't know enough about it. I use the Metametrics one from metametrics.com. It's an IgG food intolerance test. Now, the first thing you have to know about food intolerance testing, everyone has this misconception. A food intolerance is not a food allergy. It doesn't mean you can't eat those foods ever again. If you're intolerant to dairy and soy and beef and corn and green beans or pepper or coconut, everyone says, I can't eat these foods. I can't eat these foods. Well, let me give you some basic education. You actually create food intolerances. You, the person that I'm pointing at, create the food intolerances. So if you're lactose intolerant, if you're gluten intolerant a lot of the times, if you're intolerant to dairy, soy, it's because you have hyperpermeability problems in your small intestine. Your small intestine looks like that. It's got villi and little hairs, microvilli. That's where you absorb most of your food. Now, when these villi and microvilli break down or atrophy from pesticides, herbicides, chemicals, alcohol, stress, you name it, or blood sugar handling issues I'll talk about, they actually start to atrophy. When they start to atrophy, you can't absorb your food. You can't assimilate food to your cells, in your blood, to your muscles, to your organs. Now, when you can't do that, there's certain enzymes, let's say, or lacteals that break down fat. And there's enzymes, sucrase, that break down sucrose. And there's lactase that break down lactose. So when you don't have those villi or microvilli and they atrophy, you can't break down your foods. Those foods actually cause destruction, and they lead to hyperpermeability problems. These hyperpermeability problems are like atrophy, and you get these little openings, and food particles start to slip through into the bloodstream, activate the immune system, which causes an immune system reaction. So food intolerances are not immune system activated. So if you're allergic to something, the second you eat it, your immune system reacts. Food intolerances, you actually create the immune system reaction. So if you heal the gut through proper protocols, you can actually eat those foods again. A lot of the times, if you eliminate the foods for a short amount of time and you reintroduce them slowly while you're healing the gut, most people can actually eat those foods. Now, what I'm learning from a lot of people's different works is blood sugar handling issues will cause hyperpermeability problems. So think about this. you have what's called secretory IgA. This is your first line of defense. It's like a mucus that fights foreign invaders in your nose, your mouth, your vagina, your ears, orifices of your body. There's high amounts in your gastrointestinal system. So when your blood sugar's low from not eating the right foods, eating too many polyunsaturated fatty acids, poor food ratios, poor food frequencies, what happens is your blood sugar drops. When that happens, your body goes into a state of stress. We'll simplify it. So the body releases excess adrenaline, excess cortisol, and other hormones to break down muscle tissue to raise blood sugar. Well, these very hormones do many things. They actually inhibit the liver's detoxification of estrogen. They actually inhibit T4 to T3 conversion. But at the same time, these excess hormones downregulate secretory IgA in the gut. They basically inhibit it. When you downregulate secretory IgA in the gut, guess what happens? Long story short, you basically create food intolerances. So what you're seeing is a blood sugar handling issue can create a food intolerances. And what we're seeing is that most people with these food intolerances, once you regulate their blood sugar in the thyroid, the liver, and the gut, they can actually reintroduce these foods in a small amount over time. Even dairy, we do it with people all the time that say, I haven't had dairy for 2 years. We introduce it slowly, and they're fine once we regulate blood sugar. And we do this, we'll simplify it by just looking at their body temperature. If your body temperature is below 98, you're basically, your thyroid's slowing down, there's issues with the liver, and you're hypoglycemic. You have blood sugar handling issues. So if you're eating the right foods, the right frequencies, the right ratios of foods, you start to see your body temperature go up to 98 to 98.6. And at that point, you know you can start reintroducing these foods because now you're healing the gut at the same time. You're actually producing more secretory IgA, so you'll unwind these food intolerances. So I hope I made some sense for you guys. The bottom line is, if you have a food intolerance, you don't have to eliminate these foods forever. These are foods that you need. These are foods that your body actually wants. And a lot of times you've created the food intolerances, so if you heal the gut, regulate blood sugar, you will be able to reintroduce these foods again. So thanks for tuning in. I'm out of here.